Okay, my name's John Mackey, and I've been at the school since January 2000 until the present day, and I teach saxophone, flute, clarinet, the improvisation classes, theory, oral, and used to take the big band, and also the jazz collective. So basically it's across the board. From the jazz point of view, and now I'm focusing more on my PhD, which is really interesting, and also doing some theory tutorials, so I'm enjoying that as well. When I came to Canberra in May '99, I had a couple of other jobs, and then I approached the School of Music in November '99, and that was still at Manuka, so I was lucky enough to start work the following year. And then in 2001 we moved across. The university wanted to basically get everyone on site. So the Peter Carmel building was built, and that's where we were housed from 2001. Yeah, so the jazz department, if I can term it that, has been alive, since for at least 30 years now, and was born in the Manuka, the old Manuka campus that we used to. It was called the Manuka campus. It's right next to Manuka Oval, and that's where Art Sound is now, and the photography lab, etc. And that was a really great hub for young musicians. The course was thriving. A lot of kids from interstate and from the regions were coming through. And a lot of our alumni are doing incredibly well around Australia and around the world now, which is fantastic. When the jazz department was based in Manuka, it was a great little community of students, and there was it was like a village feel. So the kids would come in, congregate. It was very social, and then they'd sort of go off to their classes, and then after class they'd sort of meet up again, and so from that point of view, Manuka was absolutely fantastic, because it kind of on the ground, literally on the ground, it created this strong community of young musicians, and that, I think, that inspired them to go out and find their own gigs, because they were all together socialising, playing all the time, and that quickly created a lot of great little groups that could actually go out and perform in public. So from that point of view, Manuka was a really fantastic breeding ground for young up and coming musicians. And then when we moved over to the ANU campus, it was a little bit sterile, I think, but it was a brand new building, pretty good facilities, and we were closer to the classical school. So in that sense, it kind of brought the jazz kids and the classical kids together, which was a really positive move, just from a social point of view, but also from a musical point of view, because then we started to see students start to cross-pollinate. So instead of there being this physical divide between classical and jazz students, now we're in one space, and they started to perform together and hang out and go and listen to music. So I think that was a good time. 2001 was, we were a bit nervous about it, but I think after a little while it became a good thing. Of course the kids had immediate access to all the amazing facilities on campus, so that's got to be a good thing. There's probably a couple of things, but the one of the most positive visits was by the great saxophone player, multi-instrumentalist Benny Maupin, who's probably most famous for his appearance on the Headhunters album of Herbie Hancock in the late 60s. And he was phenomenal. He was inspiring for the kids, and he played at the Capital Jazz Project and did a wonderful concert there, including some of our alumnus, Carl Dewhurst, and Michael Azzopardi was on piano, and Eric Ajay was on bass, Miroslav Bukowski was on trumpet, and Mark Sutton was on drums, and I think Gary France was on percussion. So it was a packed concert, and the kids were, pumped and alive, and it was just nice to see them smiling, and clearly that's what it's all about. So I'd have to say that that's probably the most positive experience I've had in my time here.